there's so many young black men that need to realize that, being in prison is, you don't get brownie points. Like, you don't get brownie points, man. You get brownie points for staying outside of prison, being free, and being there for your family, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. This is the Views of Voices podcast. I'm your host, Dewan Thompson. And on this show, man, we're going to talk about my career path right now, right? And give a little update. I'm a correctional officer. And man, hey, let's start with, what it's like being a correctional officer. So, being a correctional officer it's not bad, man. It's not bad at all. And I think it's not bad for me because I've grew up around those that have been in the system, right? And so I can kind of be myself. And trust me, man, it's, some days you got bad days, right? You got days where, people may have fought and people may have overdosed. And that's not a good thing, right? But other days, you talk to some of these inmates and you get a view of how they view life and their steps to becoming better. But there's also those inmates that seem like they're not being rehabilitated, like they don't want to change for the better, right? And I kind of want to get into that. And this past week, man, I was talking to a dude, and he was upset at one of my officers, one of my coworkers, about a situation. And I asked him, man, when are you going home? He told me in about 5 months. And I'm like, man, you don't need to be causing all this ruckus when you're going home in 5 months. And he's just basically like, man, I don't care about doing time. It's a principle or something, and blase, blase, blase. And I'm like, man, sometimes you just gotta bite your tongue, man. It's not even about I'm not afraid to doing time. It's more of, man, let me go home. Let me try to be better for myself, but not only for myself, but for my family as well. And that's what I'm trying to harp at to a lot of dudes in there, especially young dudes, young black dudes, because in the prison system, man, there's so many young black men in there, man, and it's kind of sad to see. They become a statistic in this world, and I hate seeing young black men like that. But my thing is, I want to try to put some wisdom on them to let them know that your life does matter, and it matters outside of prison. Like the joy of freedom should be much bigger than just being in prison or trying to do something for your hood so you can get points, right? And it's fucking stupid. It's stupid as fuck, and it's frustrating that some people do think like that. Like, at the end of the day, your family is much bigger than the hood you're from, right? And so, I really wanted to talk about that, and how there's so many young black men that need to realize that, being in prison is, you don't get brownie points. Like, you don't get brownie points, man. You get brownie points for staying outside of prison, being free, and being there for your family, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. And that's what I'm going to continue to harp on to these dudes that's in there. Even older cats, but they are more willing to listen because they are wiser. You still have some that don't really care about none of that. But, I just want to basically harp on that point. I also want to talk about being a product of your own environment. And, I know certain circumstances, it's kind of hard to break that cycle, right? If you had family members that were, in a gang, in the street, selling drugs, and that's all you knew, and that environment was the only thing you grew up around, I kind of understand why some may take that route. But I think that there needs to be more of a steering away from that type of lifestyle, right? And right now, especially in today's society, that lifestyle is glorified, and it's ignorant. It's ignorant as hell. And I think more people need to harp on going to school or being an entrepreneur and making money the legal way. Like, you don't need to sell drugs. You don't need to gangbang. You don't need to be robbing people. Like, that's going to hurt you in the long run, in my opinion. Like, at the end of the day, whatever's in the dark comes into the light. And I think that all that stuff, selling drugs and doing that shit, it's definitely stuff done in the dark. and eventually it will come to the light where you get caught, or something worse, something happens to your life or somebody else that's significant to you. And so, being a product of your own environment, you can definitely beat that. You can, go to school right after high school, or you can get a job and actually make steps into becoming an entrepreneur. And so, man, I definitely think that, there's more to life than just gang banging, fucking selling drugs. There's more to life than that. Pimping, females out. There's more to life than that. And I think that you will feel more fulfilled that you've actually done things the right way. So right now with this channel, right, I definitely want to harp on, the prison system. How is it being a correctional officer in a max security prison? And so on this channel, I'm going to be describing a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of thoughts, and basically how my days have been going inside of the prison, right? And so, hopefully my stories can help change, a lot of these dudes that are in the prison, right? And get them to understand that, freedom is everything. Like, cherish your freedom, man. You should never have somebody else tell you when to shower, and that's frustrating. That is really frustrating, and I understand that. And so I just hope that my stories and my wisdom in a way helps people to understand that going to prison is not it. It is not it. Like being home for your family, for your kids, man, is the most important thing you can do. And hopefully you guys enjoy my stories, enjoy my words of encouragement and stuff like that, and also the statistics around the prison system, and especially around people of color inside of the prison system. I'm definitely going to be harping on that and some of the things that have led us to be a product of our own environment. And so, man, I hope you guys really enjoyed this little snippet right here, this little show, because this is going to be going on for the rest of my YouTube channel right here, man. And so, and that's it, man. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Views of Voices podcast. I'm your host, Dewan Thompson. Thank you.